No, Ed, you're welcome. Diarmuid McAree is my name. I'm a forester, and I'm also involved with tree diseases and mycology fungi, and also a member of CRANN. And I was just asked by Sue, Lady Sue, to come and help the weekend. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to. We're just going to take a casual walk through the woods, and we talked about nature study, trees, forestry, mycology, fungi, insects, diseases, anything. Nature, and I'd like if there's any questions that I can answer, and hopefully you'll be able to identify at least 30 trees by the time we end this afternoon. 30. Now, as I say, to put things in perspective, but this weekend is all about fungi, and fungi are plants, we believe, but they don't have the magic molecule called, do you know what the magic molecule is? Any idea? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green material that, if I came here today and I was wearing a white coat and I said I just invented a new chemical called chlorophyll, I'd guess that was able to take the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and mix it with whatever and end up with timber and with sugars and with fruits. I would get the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Science Prize for inventing this magic molecule called chlorophyll, because it's something that we have that actually is the basis of life. It transforms the carbon dioxide and the nutrients and gives off, manufactures wood, timber, and it gives off the oxygen that we breathe. Now, fungi cannot do this. Why do you think fungi cannot do this? Because they don't have the magic molecule. So fungi are then plants by definition without chlorophyll, so they have to get their material from something that is living, when we call them parasites. If they take their material from, a fungus takes its material from something that's living, it's called a parasite. A parasite normally causes a disease. A disease is something that bothers us. And then the other fancy term, now I won't be using fancy terms this afternoon, but the fungi that decompose and break down the material, they are saprophytes. They just break down material and they break it back into the earth, and then the trees take it. So before we start to talk, what I'm trying to introduce you to is the concept of the ecological cycle. It's a very basic natural cycle in life, and it starts off with the sun. The sun is the source of all energy, and the sun is up there and it's intercepted by stuff that we call the producers. Now, the producers are the trees, the plants, anything with the magic chlorophyll molecule. So the sun is taken in, bounces on the chlorophyll, and it produces wood, food, material, grass, anything. It manufactures that from the basic components from the soil and from water and nutrients. And it transforms it into wood. In my case as a forester, we're delighted that the timber is produced from this process called photosynthesis, the manufacture of food by light. So these are the producers, and that's what we're looking at here. All these trees here are producing. The leaf material, this lime tree here, is, with the magic molecule, is a producer. It's producing wood, timber. Now, I'm trying to give you the concept of the ecological cycle, where fungi fit in as well. So the producers are the goodies, are the good fellas. They produce all the material, the wood, the stuff that we use for houses, for food, for material. And then the producers are the source of material for a group of animals called, any idea what they're called? The consumers. The consumers are the herbivores that eat plants, and the carnivores that eat the animals that ate the plants. So do you see the way the cycle is building up? You have the producers, that the consumers then eat the producers. And the consumers, you have two types of consumers. You have the herbivores. Anyone here who's a vegetarian is a herbivore. I'm an omnivore, I eat everything. And then you have a carnivore that eats flesh. So you have the producers, then you have the consumers that eat what the producers produce, and then how about the fungi? What do you call those collectively? Well, no, there's a collective term for them.
Recycling, whatever. Recycler.
Yeah, well, the jargon is they're called decomposers.
Yeah.
So when you think of those three terms for the afternoon, you have the producers, they're the producers. The consumers, an insect that eats this, that's a consumer. And then the decomposers are the fungi, the bacteria, the insects, all these things that recycle, as you say, and shove all the material that was produced by the producers, that was consumed by the consumers, and decomposed by the decomposers back into the soil, and the whole bloody cycle starts again. Now, that's the take-home message I'm trying to give you today, is the sun. Now, it's very simple, and scientists can make it very complex by using very complex language. So if you can get that message across to your children or to anybody, if you're a teacher, I think it's the basis of ecology, biology, and it's so important that all this is done in balance. So I am biased in terms of being a forester. My job was to be the best producer in Ireland, to make sure that when you planted trees you got a lot of timber production. And then the consumers were the builders. The Celtic tiger used all the bloody stuff that was produced in the forest, built houses and stuff with the timber. And then the decomposers are here. We're looking at the fungi, which we'll see, and the insects. So do you have any question? That's basic, but I'm trying to get the message. And we talk about how to identify the producers. We look at the consumers. We might listen to some bird song. We do a little bit of a nature study walk. And I'd like, please, if there's anyone here who is an expert in any particular area, they might give us the benefit. If you hear, I was trying to identify that bird, you might tell us what it is, or again, any complex fungi we find, we get some help. So you're okay on that? That's I've given you a brief handout on the role of fungi in the whole ecological cycle. So you have that, and that's the basis of my talk and what we're doing. So if we just, well, before we do, have you any questions on that ecological cycle?
Where does mycorrhiza come into that cycle?
I'm going to show you that in the wood. Yeah, mycorrhiza would be a decomposer. It's a fungus. Myco is a fungus. Rhiza is a root, and mycorrhiza is a fungus root. And what it does is, again, I was going to talk about that later, but that was an area of work that I was involved with. And in fact, you get some people become fanatic about their subjects, and there's some mycologists, and their definition of a tree is a tissue, or it's actually a fungus with tissue attached. That's how they define a tree, because without the fungus at the root, the tree wouldn't be able to grow. It takes the nutrients in and gives them to the tree, and then the tree in turn, because the fungus cannot manufacture its food, the tree gives the carbohydrates to the fungus. So you have this beautiful term called symbiosis. I mean, the mutual, living together for mutual, it's an ideal marriage, living together for, but we see further on some of the mycorrhiza, the fungi. In fact, the fungi that you see in the autumn at the base of trees, it just shows those guys have been working right throughout the year, transferring nutrients to the tree, protecting the tree from soil-borne pathogens. Pathogens are agents which cause disease, and these mycorrhiza protect the tree from that. So we might get in forestry. If we plant young seedlings, you know, if you take some cones, you know, say that's a cone of a tree, and you shake it out and you put the seeds into the nursery. Sometimes if the seeds are not germinating properly, the forester will actually inoculate, will put a specific fungus into the seed bed, so that the fungus will attach itself to the root of the little seedling, and then the trees will just jump out, they grow. And that's the myco, M-Y-C-O, mycorrhiza. Because if the tree doesn't have these goodies attached and you plant it out, it will not grow. So that's why some people who are doing a PhD or a doctorate in fungi on mycorrhiza, they define a tree as a fungus with tissue attached. Now it's a bit biased, but Jesus, sometimes, and rightly so, if the young seedling that you take from the cone or from the oak seedling doesn't have the proper fungus attachment, it doesn't grow. And that's an example of symbiosis. The living symphony orchestra, you're all working together in a symphony, the same biosis, living, so living together for mutual benefit. So that's the mycorrhiza.
So you don't call it a parasite, you don't call it a decomposer, what do you call it?
Good.
Symbiosis?
Yeah, well, that's a good. I'd prefer that term. Yeah, beneficial. Yeah, it's not a decomposer. In fact, it is. It's a bit of a decomposer because the fungus attached to the root of the tree is actually decomposing the nutrient, the soil beside the tree, and soluble, and making those soluble. It exudes enzymes. You ever see this ad for washing up powder that you throw into dirty clothes, and you shove in enzymes which are washing up powder? Yeah. Fungi have these enzymes. They exude enzymes, and these enzymes actually break up very complex sugars and polysaccharides into very simple components. So you're right, they're decomposing, but they're beneficial decomposers. That sound alright?